Corrado Jr. Soprano is an essential character in The Sopranos. Uncle to Tony Soprano, Tony skillfully allows his petty and insecure uncle take the spotlight from the feds by making him boss of the glorified DeMeo crew after the death of Jackie Aprile Sr. However, after it becomes known to him that Tony is secretly running things behind the back of his baldy dome, and that his position as a bushman of the Kalahari has been exposed, Junior puts out a hit on Tony, which erupts into a war which ends with Junior's crew essentially eliminated. Junior himself escapes Tony's wrath by the skin of his nuts when the feds arrest him, and though Tony and Junior do make up, the reasons for which we've discussed in a previous video, Junior spends most of the rest of the series under house arrest, essentially morphing into a comic relief duo with Bobby Bacala, with the odd scene of introspective mafia wisdom here and there. In many ways, housebound Junior farting into the same cushion months on end was the best consigliere Tony ever had. Junior's mental condition suffers and gets worse throughout the show, leading him to shoot Tony in a confused state, being cut off from the mob and living out his years in a medical facility. He later died of Alzheimer's. In today's video, I wanted to talk about Catherine Romano, an elderly woman who appears in a single episode. She knew Junior since they were kids, having married a cop, and also has a son who's a police officer. She and Junior meet at hospital, and she goes to Junior's house a few times to reminisce and to enjoy Junior's company, which she always did. However, Junior's behaviour towards her is cold and unusual. He seems unwilling to engage, uncomfortable, and several times pretends he isn't home so he can avoid her. And though the episode ends with the two watching TV together, Junior falling asleep, Katherine putting on his breathing mask for him and giving him a kiss on the head, which is the kind of behaviour you might associate with an old married couple. In other words, suggesting the two will be a couple going forward, she never appears in the show again. It's sad when characters go like that. Whatever happened to Catherine Romano? Now there was a Madigan, the strong, silent type. She wasn't put off by Junior's rebuffs, nor by his feet in her lap. So why did Junior treat her so bad, and where did she go? That was what I wanted to originally discuss, but while I was taking notes for this video about Junior's psyche and his relationship with women, the conversation kept expanding and the video got longer and longer. So what I thought I'd do is essentially two videos. Today's where we will be discussing Junior and Katherine, and later we'll take a deeper dive into the muff about why Junior never settled down and got married. Before we do, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Pay attention, you might just learn something, because what you didn't know could fill a book. So, regarding Katherine, her storyline takes place in the episode House Arrest, where Tony is advised to attend his nominal job after the Bevilacqua hit, to lie low. A lot of this episode deals with boredom and the regularness of life, with Tony struggling to pass the time, even developing a rash perhaps out of sheer boredom. The tedium has him bang the office receptionist and create a company betting pool. The ending of the episode, with the mob guys just hanging around, reading magazines, playing cards, Tony cleaning his shoes, speaks to a lot of things that we aren't looking to discuss in today's video. But one interesting thing to note is that perhaps Sopranos creator David Chase is saying your average mobster's day-to-day life isn't really that exciting. And notice when there's a car accident outside, the crew rushes out and gets involved. In many ways, they need this kind of stimuli. They need action. They need drama. Without it, they wouldn't be able to live. This element would be used time and again in the show, most notably with gay mobster Vito Spatafore getting a chance to live a dream life without stigmata in New Hampshire, but choosing to return to Jersey because he's bored. Now, this idea of choosing something adventurous with thrills, but self-destructive, instead of sticking with something boring, links quite heavily to Junior's storyline. Because Junior's dropping zingers in this episode. He's flirting heavily with the nurse who comes to his house, hot and young as she is, but he's completely turned off by the idea of talking to Katherine. Bobby asks why he sent the lady away, saying, "I thought you were bored," and Junior replies, "Talking to that dreadnought is going to help." She bores him, but it's deeper than that. Junior is deeply insecure, and part of the way he'll blow smoke up his ass is the way he flirts with these younger women. The appearance of this crypt keeper is a horrible reminder for Junior as to what he actually is, an old man. Becoming an item with her, walking around with her would mean an acceptance of that fact, but he's not quite ready. He'd be ashamed to face his friends. She dotes on him like an old housewife, plus she has connections to his past which makes him feel old. He could not get past his pride and be with an old woman, and it's to his detriment, because she was perfect for him. Here was a woman who was genuinely interested in him. They could hold real conversations with each other, and her body was mad ripe. But instead, Junior wants to continue flexing with younger women. He even sends the nurse a bottle and expresses disappointment that he didn't hear back from her. It's almost like this was a last-ditch deluded punt to hook up with the younger woman before reality kicks in. Reality that tells him that these women are not interested in him, and he gives up, inviting Katherine around towards the end of the episode where he finally opens up to her. It must have been difficult for him. She was a piece of ass but had fucking bunions. You know how he feels about feet. When she first approaches Corrado in the hospital, his first instinct, even after his procedure, is to get up out of the wheelchair to appear strong, masculine, saying you'd think they'd worry about the sick people, distancing himself from people who are ill when he very much is a sick person. He hilariously squares up to the orderly, and later he hides the breathing machine from Katherine when she comes to the house. It's evident that Junior has an image of himself, and in order to maintain that image, he pushes away people who would have otherwise made him happy, the most notable being that blabbermouth cunt Bobby Sanfilippo, which we'll talk about in the other video. The scene after Junior sends Katherine away, he's washing the dishes in the sink, a woman's role in traditional Italian families, and of course he gets his hand stuck, and later when the calzone with legs Bobby eats half a fucking tray in there of Katherine's manicotti, Junior is left frustrated and hungry, and it's actually then that he phones her up. It's as if the show is telling us he wouldn't have to suffer in silence like this if he just swallowed his pride and hooked up with what is a perfectly suitable woman. Junior is embarrassed and does not want Katherine to see him as old or infirm. He also asks Bobby Bacala if Bobby Sanfilippo phoned back, meaning he must have tried to reach her and rekindle that flame. But Bobby says she was cold. Sure, Sanfilippo wasn't exactly a hoofer, poor thing, but she represents a far more thrilling kind of woman that Junior would be happy to be seen with, and it seems Katherine's arrival made him try to make amends with her. But he's out of options now, and with Katherine repeatedly visiting, her turning out to be genuinely nice, he lets his guard down and engages. Junior even has one of his kindest moments in the show with Katherine, when she asks him whether her cop husband was on the take. It seems pretty evident that the show wants us to think he was, but Junior denies it, allowing Katherine to maintain the image she had of her late husband. The man was a saint. It's also worth mentioning that there are more straightforward reasons that Junior had for not wanting to be with Katherine. He was dealing with cancer, with chemotherapy, a trial, medication, declining mental health, and embarrassment at the house arrest, meaning he would not be able to go out with her. So we can forgive him for not being a 24/7 coos hound, his flirting notwithstanding. But what happened to her? I heard she drowned on a picnic. The storyline, it petered out, died on the vine. Katherine, she moved or something. Is it possible that the showrunners had a positive, content ending for Junior in mind, but then decided to pull a 180, get rid of Katherine and plummet Junior with non-stop Alzheimer's and suffering for the rest of the show? In universe, there could be a number of reasons, aside from obvious ones like it just not working out. The only other time Katherine is mentioned in the show, if I remember correctly, is when Junior wanders off and Bobby says he called her, but she hadn't heard from him. So she wasn't dead, and nor was the actress who played her, so they could have continued her story. Could it be that Junior's answer about her husband, with her knowing deep down that he was lying, meant that she knew this is a man who will never truly be honest with me. He's just like the rest of them. So she distances herself. Possibly, but there's also her son to consider, the cop who gives Junior the stink eye in the hospital. Gotta wonder where he is in all of this. Junior is on trial as a mafia boss, and the son may have warned his mother to keep walking, fella, and stay away from Mr. Magoo. If something went wrong at the trial, like the intimidated juror, whatever happened there, he might get blamed for his mother's relationship with the defendant, someone deciding he had something to do with it, and he loses his job. There's a man's reputation at stake here. There is a scene where Livia phones up Junior and essentially breaks his balls for seeing Katherine, and she says that Katherine let Johnny feel her up one time. Junior was weirdly submissive to Livia. Perhaps this comment from Livia, the idea that there are people who are making fun out of him for his relationship with Katherine, made him break off the relationship, much like what happened with his Gumar Bobby. All in all though, Katherine represents how insecure, narcissistic and deluded Junior was. He rejects this opportunity for companionship so late in his life just so he can continue his self-deception and play the flirt with younger women and feel good about himself. It's a final opportunity for Junior before his life spirals into a path of isolation and loneliness. So what do you make of Catherine Romano and Junior's treatment of her? What do you think happened to her? Let me know in the comment section below, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next video on Junior, where we take a deeper dive into his relationship with women. Thanks for watching.